takes a heap of living in a house to make it home a heap of sun and shadow.
From the land of the sky, blue water,
The makers of Land O'Lakes Sweet Cream Butter present Edgar A. Guest with Eddie Howard. A bit of music, a bit of verse, a bit of common sense to make your next 15 minutes a bit brighter.
from the land of the sky, blue water.
Each of us has some weakness. All down through the years, she's had to maneuver and manage to get me by a bookstore. She just it's gotten so that she hates to see an express wagon stop in front of the house because she knows another box of books is coming in. I say to her, well, I feel just about the same way when I see one of those Syrian gentlemen climbing the front steps with those 3 grips chuck full of linen. The linen man from Syria has pretty wares to sell, embroidered things and lacy things which women love so well. He brings them in a mighty grip, held fast with leather stout, and any wife will have to buy, if once he gets them out. A banquet cloth from Italy he spreads across his knee. Oh, madam, here's a bargain that's as cheap can be. And here is lace from Normandy that's truly very fine. While here I have a damask cloth of marvelous design. To me they're merely table spreads, and napkins he displays. I cannot see why women sit so long at them to gaze, but oh, the wily linen man has speech at his command concerning lovely luncheon sets, which ladies understand. I have expensive habits of my own, I must confess. I've often looked at costly books and hungered to possess. I've bought them when I shouldn't, so I understand her case. Her weakness is for pretty things of linen and of lace.
She may be weary, women do get weary, wearing the same shabby dress. And when she's weary, try a little tenderness. You know she's waiting, just anticipating things she may never possess. While she's without them, try a little tenderness. It's not just sentimental, she has her grief and care, and a word that's soft and gentle makes it easier to bear. You won't regret it, women don't forget it, love is their whole happiness. It's all so easy, try a little tenderness.
Rennie, how's your knowledge of statistics?
Uh-oh, you going to start quizzing me again?
Well, yeah. Tell me, what's your idea of 1,000? Did you ever count 1,000 anything yourself? Dollars or donuts or marbles?
Well, certainly not dollars, Ed. But I've seen 1,000 people or more in a hall. At least they've said 1,000 people were present. And I've seen 30 or 40,000 people at a baseball game. Why?
Yeah, I've done that too, and that's a lot of people. Now, what I want to get at is what happens in your mind when you hear me tell about 100,000 American farmers daily taking sweet cream to Land O'Lakes Creamery so that the cream can be churned while it is still sweet. Can you visualize that number? 100,000, that's the population of many a good-sized city. Then let me add that those 100,000 Land O'Lakes farmers have as their single aim the best possible product. Well, that number becomes more and more impressive. This is out of my early days as a police reporter. I think in every neighborhood there is always a sweet and lovely character, not understood much by the adults, but known and by the children. There's always somebody in every neighborhood to whom the children go for that drink of water and the cookies that are handy. And one night we were called from the police station out to break into just that kind of a home because the tenant hadn't been seen for a few days. There was a lonely woman in a cottage. Day by day, alone she walked her garden round to pass the time away. Alone she brewed her cup of tea. At 9 o'clock at night, alone she walked from room to lock the windows tight. She heard the neighbors laughing, but she never turned to see, nor raised her head, nor took a step to share their revelry. Her hair was thin and silvered, and her face was lined with care, and only little children ever found a welcome there. For them she fashioned cookies to resemble polar bears, and sugar dates and walnut cakes, and other sweet affairs, and every little boy or girl who passed her threshold or could eat her stock of goodies till they couldn't swallow more. She paid no heed to grown-ups, and the neighbors wondered why. Alone she chose to keep her house. Alone she chose to die. The menfolk thought her crazy, and the women often stood and wondered who had wronged her. But the children thought her good. We never learned her story. All alone, one night she died, and when the children missed her, men were called to break inside. They found her lying on the floor, her voice forever stilled, and in the room, the cookie jar, which she had just refilled.
Little old lady passing by, catching everyone's eye. You had such a charming manner, sweet and shy. Little old bonnet set in place, and a smile on your face. You were a perfect picture in your lavender and lace. Little lavalier of jet, little things you can't forget. That you were the reigning belle at every minuet. Little old lady, so polite, close your eyes, that's all right. You deserve a sweet bouquet of pleasant dreams. Good night.
You know, ladies, it takes a lot of things, a lot of preparation, to make a really appetizing meal. Don't you think so? Don't you agree that even the best of cooks can have a whole meal spoiled because the butter used isn't quite as fresh and good as it should be? And that's particularly true in warm weather. Butter is so perishable. But I know one thing. Those women who use Land O'Lakes sweet cream butter don't have near the worrying to do. Summer or winter, the quality of Land O'Lakes butter never varies. It's so fresh-tasting, so appetizing, even in the hottest weather. That's because not one drop of sour cream is ever used in churning Land O'Lakes. Only fresh, sweet cream, rigidly tested for freshness, sweetness, purity, and flavor. Why, actually, it takes more than a quart of fresh, sweet whipping cream to make 1 pound of Land O'Lakes sweet cream butter. So now you know why Land O'Lakes is a real favorite with discriminating housewives everywhere. Won't you try Land O'Lakes? Once you do, you'll never be without it.
Have you risen home to mother? Have you thought of her today? Just drop a line that you're feeling fine. That's all you really need to say. Every word is like a sunbeam. Make her happy while you may. Have you risen home to mother? If you haven't, then write her today.
Hey, Howard, I wonder if you remember the first table grace your mother taught you. We were talking one night sitting around the fire, a few of us friends, about first memories, first things that you were taught. We finally fell to recalling, I think, the prettiest of all home ceremonies, the grace at table. And the one that I learned is a little English grace. Be present at our table, Lord. Be here and everywhere adored. These creatures bless and grant that we may feast in paradise with Thee. I can still hear her teaching me that. And the next day this bit was done. When I was but a little lad, not more than 8 or 9, the mother had a table prayer she taught us, line by line, with all the family gathered round, heads bowed and hands in place. We'd sit in solemn silence until one of us said grace. Be present at our table, Lord. Her favorite grace began. Be here and everywhere adored, the little couplet ran. These creatures bless and grant that we, I hear it now as then, may feast in paradise with Thee. And all would say, Amen. Day in and out through weal and woe, high gain or commonplace, at every meal our heads we bowed throughout this simple grace. Be present at our table, Lord. From all that has occurred and all the joy that we have known, I'm sure He must have heard.
From the land of the sky through water,
You have been listening to the poems of Edgar A. Guest and the songs of Eddie Howard. And remember, summer or winter, even in the hottest weather, the quality of Land O'Lakes sweet cream butter never varies. You'll like its country fresh flavor. This is Vincent Pelletier speaking.
from the land of the sky through water.
Just a little thought on what is success. Who cheers another on his way or aids a neighbor in distress? Whatever else the critics say is for that moment a success.